Tonight I'm going to speak with you a little bit about our healthy homes in Greenville, some funding that the city just recently received. The city of Greenville received $1.3 million for our lead-based paint hazard control grant and also $300,000 for healthy homes, which is supplemental funding. And with those funds, the staff plans to assess 67 units, and we are allowed 3.5 years, more specifically 42 months, to expend that funding. With that funding, we look to address lead hazards in homes in the city of Greenville, to look at single-family rental, multifamily rental, as well as owner-occupied. And even though the slide says vacant, vacant properties will not be a part of this funding. Any properties that we address have to have been built prior to 1978, be occupied by low-income households, have children under 6 and or a pregnant woman, and obviously within the city limits of Greenville. The healthy hazard funding will be used to address damp and mold growth. Lead is a part of healthy homes, as well as entry by intruders, domestic hygiene, pests and refuse, personal hygiene, sanitation and drainage, as well as falls associated with baths. There are 29 total, but these are just some of the few that we will address. We won't address all 29. Some additional information: with the funding, we look to budget $25,000 in lead-based paint hazard control for each unit, $15,000 to address those healthy homes items that I previously mentioned. There's also funding for relocation assistance, because with some of the work that will be done, some families or households may be required to vacate the property in order for the work to be properly done. If the family is not required to vacate the home, what might cause a family to have to relocate or have to vacate would be if they would not have access to a kitchen, a bathroom, and a sleeping area. So as long as they have that, our lead contractors can actually seal off that portion of the home where they're working and make it safe for the family to remain. But just in case that there are families that need to vacate, we have relocation assistance funding as part of the grant. And each unit that is helped will have a 3-year forgivable loan. Now, the lead-based paint hazard control funding can be used alone. In other words, if a family just has that issue, we can use that funding only. However, healthy homes funding has to be used in a property that is also receiving the lead-based paint hazard control. Healthy homes funding cannot be used alone or separate from the lead-based paint. And as an example, here you see for a family of 4, their total annual household income cannot exceed $53,100. That is the current 2019 CDBG and home income limits as listed here below. And they would also have other eligibility criteria that they would have to meet. And again, I'm Sylvia Brown. I'm the program manager for this funding, and be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Brown?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.